At 42, when the world expected her to settle down, she hit play on a brand new life, one beat at a time. I am Ivan from Divergent Beats, and we are truly honored to have with us the inspiring DJ Vibrant Ells. Hello, Ellie.
Hello, Jude. Hello.
I'm so happy to have you here today.
Oh,
So,
I'm so happy to be here as well.
good. So, um, today is all about inspiration, isn't it? Because I think that your journey inspired me while you were talking last time, but I think it can inspire many other women and people that they want to, from one day to the other one, change their life and say, you know what, I'm done. I don't want to conform anymore. And I want to do what I love to do. So let's go back to the moment when you decided, I'm going to learn how to DJ. What triggered that switch inside of you?
Ooh, that's a very interesting question. Um, I, I've always loved music. Um, I've been a big raver. Always loved going out, love dancing, love listening to music. I'm not somebody that drives along, not listening to music. I've always got music on. So music's a big part of my life. And I think I just thought, why not? Why not learn? But I had to really think about that question because if I look back on my early years in life, when I was sort of the first time I sort of went out clubbing with friends, like between the ages of probably about 18 and 21. I remember going out, and at that time probably I was listening to like R&B, hip hop, that kind of sort of music. And I remember being out and being on the dance floor and just thinking, sometimes DJs would play tunes and I'd think to myself, why are they playing that tune? It's terrible. It's not going to make the people dance. Like, I don't even want to dance to it myself. I used to think to myself, I could do a better job than that. And I think that is where the seed was actually planted, but the seed didn't grow. So the seed got planted, and I think there was ideas then back then in my early years, but obviously it didn't sort of flourish until 20 years later, so to speak. So here I am now DJing.
And how did you feel to start something completely new at 42? I know that we are not supposed to say ages out loud, but 42, we can still say out loud, isn't it? And it
Yes.
was terrifying, exciting, or was a bit of both?
Um, a bit of both, I think. I think it was quite overwhelming because I think when you've been doing a different job or you've been in a career for such a long time, it's almost ingrained in you. It becomes your identity to some degree. And making that transition to try and step into something else that's completely different can be quite overwhelming because it's not a world there's lots of research you have to do. And I think that sort of was quite overwhelming and getting my head around, is this what I want to do? There's been a lot of kind of self-discovery along the way of this journey, and still is, to be honest.
What was the first thing that you learned about DJing that you made you think, okay, this might be for me?
um I think just the love of music, how it makes you feel, that connection, that just like you can hear one song and might be able to relate to the lyrics, and you're just in it. There's you can't hear anything else around you. It's just the lyrics, the songs, the beats, everything. So yeah.
I love the way that you said, you know what, there was the moment that I seed it there, and then took time, and now I'm here, I'm doing it. But there was any moment throughout this last process that you doubted yourself and you say to yourself, how can I push myself through it? Like, do I really want, or this is just something that my rebellious sides wants to do?
Um, there is a lot of self-doubt and has been a lot of self-doubt along the way. So I officially kind of started to learn how to DJ January 24. So we're now in April 25. So that's what, 16 months roughly, I think. Um, and the first half of last year, from probably January to July, I was not persistent. I started to learn, and then I was like, I'm not sure this is for me. But was still kind of dabbling in it. And I think what was quite overwhelming was sort of the technical side of it, me learning how to beat match, that kind of stuff. So there was a lot of self-doubt in the beginning. But then when I got offered my first gig, so I got offered my first gig in the end of August. I played at an event called Full House, and a guy called Daniel, the promoter for that event, put me on. Just randomly asked me, "Do I want to play?" And I was like a rabbit in what they say, a rabbit in the headlights. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's how I was. But at the same time, I knew I couldn't say no because this was an opportunity of a lifetime. And I really, at that point in August last year, I was like, oh, I better get my shit together, basically. And I was like 6 weeks to actually learn and how to put a set together. And I was in the studio every week. I just pushed through it, um, pushed through all the self doubt. I was like, nope, I'm doing this now. I'm throwing myself into it. And yeah, then obviously played my first gig in October last year. And since then, I've just thrown myself into it, and I'm just running with it at the moment. So yeah.
Society love to put us um, to a box by our age, by our gender, by whatever it is. How did you smash that mindset and say to yourself, okay, I'm doing this anyway. I don't care about the age. I am young enough to DJ.
Um. Wow. I I don't have the mindset that you're too old to do anything. So the fact that I don't carry that mindset probably helps me just persevere through whatever I want to do. Um, I have a lot of really, really good people around me, a good network of amazing individuals. I have a lot of friends of different races, different ages, different backgrounds, and I think having different perspectives from different points of view helps me to grow as a person and gives me that mindset that anything is possible and anything is achievable, basically.
That is amazing. And if you could send a message to that 20 years old Ellie, what would you say now?
Do it. I think I think what I've learned in all of this in life so far at the age of 43 is that people are going to think whatever they think. So that saying, you're damned if you do and you're damned if you don't, is so true. Whatever you do, people are going to think the way they think. So you might as well just do what you want to do and make yourself happy.
That is amazing because I have the same thought. It's like, you know what? Fuck it.
Yeah,
Let me do it.
basically.
Being a woman in the DJ scene, what was the biggest challenge and the biggest win so far for you?
Mm, obviously, for me personally, is obviously the technical side of things, having to learn how to use the equipment, learning music theory, which I don't know everything at the moment. I'm still learning. There's still loads to learn. I think that initially was the challenge for me. Um, Also, I mean, yeah, challenging. I also find it quite challenging that, I get quite frustrated seeing a lot of male DJ lineups now, especially within the house scene, and how to sort of look at how we can constructively have conversations about including everybody, in terms of diversity and inclusivity, because that is really important for me, as a promoter myself, that a lineup of DJ represents the community that we live in, basically.
Because your background is in social worker, isn't it? And
Yeah, that's right.
yeah, and how
Yeah.
that work shape your approach to music and connecting with people in this case?
I think with DJing, what I've learned with DJing is, from looking and being involved in like DJ forums, it's not just about your technical ability, your playlist, your tune list. Yes, that is an element of DJ, But what I've also learned is that it's also being out there and being seen. So networking with the right people, supporting other DJs, communication, being able to have the confidence to go up and introduce yourself to people and say, I'm doing this, da, 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 and meeting other like-minded individuals. And I think having that background in social work, having that good communication and skill set has kind of almost accelerated me in some ways within DJing, because I totally understand that my technical abilities, they still obviously always need to be worked on, and that's something I am working on as a DJ. But I think in terms of being able to network and communicate really well with people is a really good skill set I have, and I think that is actually really helping me along this DJ path, really.
Did you ever feel judged for being a beginner later in life?
No,
No.
definitely not. Definitely not, because I'm inspired by so many people. So many people in the world do so many different things at different ages. And, I'm sure I'm not going to be the first or the last 42-year-old that learns how to DJ. There are people way older than me that learn how to do that, I'm sure. So, yeah.
And what was your proudest moment behind the decks so far?
So recently I did a set for a DJ. It was a question and answer time for a DJ called Tiffany Calver with the Let's Build fam. And so I did an opening set for that, and I got really good feedback. People came up to me afterwards and were like, really enjoyed your set. And I think that was probably like my proudest moment, is knowing that actually people actually enjoyed the music I played. So yeah.
Because now, as we talked last time before the interview, you were you were sharing with me the fact that in September you're gonna start the business music university and courses. Um, and I think that I find that magical, by the way, like the fact that you managed to connect that pure love for music, and then, I need also to look to the business side. How was the matching for you? It was an easy match, or you had to take time to, what can I do now?
Yeah, not an easy match. I kind of knew I wanted to do something within the creative industry, but I wasn't quite sure what. So I sort of applied for some other courses and was sort of looking at different career paths within the creative industry, but quite wasn't getting it quite right. And then I came across the masters in music business, and I just felt like that was me. I knew I definitely wanted a career in music, and I thought this would be the perfect step to sort of help me along that journey, really. So yeah.
And in this world that is all about worship speed, so is everything fast. Like you talked about the fact that you had to do your own journey by your own self to find yourself and doing what you love the most now. How was important to move at your own rhythm to achieve what you are achieving today?
Very important. It's so important not to rush and feel that you need to be here at a certain time, because everyone's journey is different. Everyone's journey is at different speeds. So for me, taking the time where I want to go and where I want to be is very, very important, and not looking at other people and thinking, oh, they're here and there. Like, it's very, very important for me to just go at the speed that feels right for me.
During all the process that you lived to, become the DJ that you are today, there was any moment of comparison that it was kind of toxic, where you were comparing yourself with other people that you were looking and saying, what, they are so way ahead of me, I'm so way behind, or what I'm doing.
No, I don't. I think because because of age, um, that's not the mindset I had. Maybe I would have. I definitely think in my 30s I would have probably had that view, definitely, and I definitely know I carried that view, thinking, 37, 38. Oh, I'm not married. I should be getting married. I should be buying a house. I should be doing all these things that we're told to do. Um, but I think as I've got older, especially when I hit 40, that that mindset went out the window. I was like, this is just nonsense. Like, it's absolute nonsense. Conforming to what society says you need to do by this time, and if you haven't done it, you're a failure. It's absolute rubbish, 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 rubbish. Throw it in the bin. That's what I say. Because um, it's just not part of my life. Like, and
Yeah.
I'm extremely happy with the way my life is and not conforming to what I should be doing. Yeah.
And what advice would you give to someone who's scared to start over just because of their age?
Um, if you don't do it now, when? That's the question,
Oh
isn't it?
God,
Really, because
yes.
because
Yeah,
we think in this world that we've got so much time on our hands, and that is not reality. Life is quite short. So if you don't do it now, when are you going to do it? So that's the way I see it. So
yeah, yeah. And how has music changed the way you see yourself nowadays?
yes, I think it's given me the inspiration and self-belief that I can achieve all my dreams. Everything can be possible. Um, it's given me a lot more confidence, and I think that is doing like promo videos, setting up my own event, in that in itself has given me a lot more confidence and self-belief in myself. So yeah.
So I dig in on your Instagram account.
Okay.
Yeah, okay. And well, by the way, I love how you promote the fact of being a woman in music. And I think that, as you said, and as many artists, not just DJ, but many musicians says, it's so easy to see like festivals and lineups like full of male names and less women. And it's something that we need to change. We need to, you know, build up something else because this is actually not working because there are more women's that they are producer, they're musician, DJ,
Yeah.
as you are, and
Yeah.
that they are just great in what they do. Um, there was something about your journey that people never seen on, in this case, on the social, but that is super real, that changed you.
I suppose I suppose with social media, I guess what people don't see is that, a lot of DJs and creative people have other jobs. Like DJing or being a creative is like a side thing. If you're lucky enough to have that as a full-time career, and it pays the bills, that's amazing. But for a lot of DJs, that's not reality. So we have day jobs. So some of us, for example, are social workers, nurses, doctors, plasterers, lots of careers. So that is the side, obviously, that people don't see, that we actually have, other jobs that we're doing, yeah, to make ends meet, to sort of fulfill our dreams.
When you are in the stage there in front of everyone, what's the emotion you chase the most? Like, is freedom, is connection, is joy? How do you feel up there on the stage?
I always want people to feel connection with the music. I want people to feel how I feel playing this track, feel connected to it, feel like uplifted. So I look for connection with people on the dance floor as a DJ.
If you could describe your journey in 3 words, like what would it be?
I might have 4 words, Jude.
Ah, that's okay. Amazing.
So
Let's go for it.
I've got growth, liberty, empowerment, and wisdom.
And on the empowerment, what is the empowerment for you at this stage in your life and in your career?
Empowered to go after what makes me feel happy, and not necessarily stay in a job or career that's not fulfilling me at this moment, or perhaps it's showing me that it's time to move on and do something that you really enjoy and step into what your true soul purpose is in life.
And when I heard about your story from our friend in common, I was like, oh my God, simply for the fact that we are almost there at the same age, we are millennials, and I can see that many of us, we are saying, I'm not conforming with the society anymore. And I wanted to inspire other people to be out of the box and do what they want to do. How do you hope your story will inspire other women and other girls out there, or anything feeling stuck? Anyone feeling stuck?
I would say anyone who's feeling stuck, it's just part of the journey. You've got to, unfortunately, you've got to go through the emotions to know that there is something better, to feel things in a different way, to feel how better life can be. So you ride through the emotions, ride through the stuckness, and eventually you will get to where you need to be. Because if you didn't have the stuckness, you wouldn't know what it is that you want to do or where you want to be. So that's how I see it. Yeah.
And Ellie, I know that few gigs are coming up for you. Can you share with us when will be, where it be, how that work, and where people can find you?
Okay, well, I've set up my own event called Selectors of House, and I'm launching. We've got an event on the 24th of May in Nottingham at Revolution de Cuba. So you can find myself there DJing and promoting the event alongside some other really, really amazing DJs. We've got Soul Squads, we've got Rayworth, we've got Lawanga, Danny Raja, and MJ. These are all great DJs, and that's where you can find me. You can find me on Instagram, you can find me on Facebook. And yeah, you can connect to me, if you can reach out to me, if there's things you want to share, if you want to network, you want to send me a mix as well. I'm there.
So I have a final question, and I think that that is the most important of this moment together. In this world that tell us always to play it safe, what is your message to anyone out there?
So me and my friends, we say this quite a lot to each other. We always say, "No one's coming to save you, love," which basically means no one's going to save you from that job you don't like. No one's going to save you from that house you don't want to live in, those friends, those family, all the things you don't like. The only person that can change it is you. And obviously, yes, we know that there are sometimes structural um, infrastructures that stop people, being able to grow or change aspects of their life. I'm very much aware of that. But for other people, there's so much you can do to change aspects of your life. And the only person that's going to save you is you. No one else is going to do that. So, yeah.
Totally agree. Ellie, thank you so much for this moment together to be part of Divergent Beats. There is any message that you would like to send to anyone that live with a neurodivergency and that wants to do a DJing and they are just like, oh my God, I need to stay on the stage. There will be thousands of people. How am I going to deal with it?
Oh, I I don't know. Do what works for you, what feels comfortable for you. Um, you know, I've got neurodivergent friends myself, and they all manage their own issues and conditions in different ways. Some obviously with medication, some spiritually, with meditation, all different ways. Um, I think for me, also the most important thing is surrounding yourself with the right people. Find people that believe in you, that believe in your vision, um, that support you. That for me is really really important. And if get rid of people that don't want to do that, there are so yeah.
So thank you so much. And I will put on our feature on Divergent Beats everything about the event that she's creating, but also all the Facebook and Instagram page to connect with her. So thank you so much, Ellie.
Thank you so much, Jude. It's been a pleasure.